An open world Pokemon game is something that has been begged and dreamed for by the Pokemon community for as long as it has been imagined possible. Tweets, fake leaks, and fan games all arose out of the want for a Pokemon game to expand past the narrowness of a top-down and limited view. While Sword and Shield gave a sense of that, it left the fans feeling empty, instinctively comparing it to the massive hit that Breath of the Wild was, coming out 5 years earlier. You can only imagine the reluctant excitement forming from the announcement of a legitimate open-world-esque Pokemon game after all these years.
It's Breath of the Wild!
Joey, what the hell is this? Breath of the Wild Pokemon actually?
Okay, this looks pretty, Onyx, but hold your horses, bro. Hold your horses, man.
Some will say Pokemon Legends Arceus is unfinished and uninspired.
But the true weakness here is the story. The story here is one of the most soulless, uninspired stories I have ever seen in a video game. This is disgraceful. This is embarrassing.
There are 3 very obvious things that you can point out about this game that are objectively subpar given the 2020 time frame that it came out. Graphically, it is on par with GameCube. The world is also extremely empty. The world is bland. Every single environment is the same copy and pasted environment from the first zone.
I'm here to tell you why I think this game is a massive success for the Pokemon Company, a wonderful insight to the direction they can and should take the world of Pokemon, and finally why I think Legends Arceus is in contention for being one of the best Pokemon games we have. The first thing people tend to ask is if a game is a good game. When people say this nowadays, we tend to look at a very consistent criteria. Gameplay, graphics, and stories seem to be the big 3 people tend to nod to. In my opinion, this is a flawed system in reviewing a game because not all games are working towards achieving the highest quality of those set goals. While games that are exceptional in these categories do tend to be good games, not all good games excel in this group of specific areas. For example, God of War is an example of a game that does all of these things to a very high level, and it is highly regarded as a great game. On the other hand, Minecraft is the highest sold and played game of all time, without a story or impressive graphics. See how this is kind of a problem when determining a quote-unquote good game? Back on Pokemon, we've established that to grade Pokemon Legends Arceus on the basis of traditional good game expectations is unhelpful. We do have to grade it on some basis though, and that is what makes it a good Pokemon game. Throughout history, Pokemon has always lacked in just about every category other than maybe gameplay. The jury's still out on that one. Before I get flamed by the fans, Pokemon's a huge part of my life. I've played basically every Pokemon game ever created and have been consistently since 2005. But I don't believe that there are Pokemon games that I would classify as good games. Pokemon's a dated series with graphics almost always lagging behind its competition by years, even decades at times. And then couple that with stories that children are hardly interested in. I mean, people consider Black and White as the best story Pokemon games, which is pretty sad because it has maybe 2 plot points more than any other Pokemon game. So yes, I agree with that assessment, but man, the bar and our expectations are very low. That being said, I think almost every main series Pokemon game fits the criteria of being a good Pokemon game, even if they aren't necessarily good games. What do I mean by that? Well, Pokemon has survived off of one thing, and you're probably thinking nostalgia, and my answer to that is no. Kind of. The Pokemon series survives off of the universe it created. That's why it keeps fans coming back. It's not for the plot, it's not for the graphics, and hell, not even really for the gameplay. That's why Pokemon's been able to sell every spin-off game known to man. Take Star Wars for example. This one's gonna give me even more hate probably. I personally don't believe that there's a single Star Wars movie that I would consider a good movie, but I believe that there are plenty of good Star Wars movies. Get the gist? George Lucas created a world of planets, laws of nature, and characters that an audience has fallen in love with. And as long as those are utilized and played upon, there will always be attention. Kinda see how Pokemon's the exact same way? Now, moving on to what makes a good Pokemon game. I believe, looking into games that specifically use the traditional Pokemon battling style, that there are 3 elements that make a good, strong Pokemon game. Good roster of Pokemon, satisfying or climatic boss battles, and a world that feels or can be imagined to be expansive. To give a baseline, counting Colosseum and XD as traditional Pokemon games, I believe Legends of Arceus would rank just behind these 2 games. Here's why. Colosseum and XD, in my opinion, are the only Pokemon games that provide a high quality of these 3 things, as well as engaging characters and plot. But this video isn't really about these games, so maybe that's for another time. Pokemon Legends Arceus has 242 Pokemon available, with 24 of them being new region-exclusive Pokemon. That puts the total roster count on par with most of the later Pokemon games, while being an open-world game, making it far more difficult to plant those Pokemon into specific biomes. On top of that, I personally think that they did a phenomenal job at making impressive and inspiring designs for the region's forms and new evolutions, making just about every Pokemon fit the theme and period of the region perfectly. From what I could tell, there aren't many people who are pointing at certain new Pokemon as uninteresting. While I do see people who hate the design of Pokemon like Cleaver, I genuinely think it's really good and it fits the style perfectly. It doesn't get the same kind of hate that Black and White got for its roster over a decade ago for having Pokemon like Vanillish and Clink and Clank. In that sense, I believe Legends Arceus thrives as a game. Moving on to satisfying or climactic boss battles. In my opinion, this is a no-brainer. Looking at the traditional sense of Pokemon, mini-boss fights would get stale besides a handful of rivals, gym leaders, and champions for a number of reasons. Whether it be because they are just higher-leveled versions of Pokemon you've already faced, no actual interaction and build-up tension between those bosses, or the ability to overlevel, most climax in traditional Pokemon is self-imposed by Nuzlockes and randomizers nowadays. In Legends Arceus, whether you struggle with the noble Pokemon or not, these problems in my eyes are fixed in this game. The bosses are not only Pokemon you have never seen before in the wild or any other game, they are also vibrant and extremely powerful versions of them. Also tension-wise, instead of being told that there is probably a gym leader in the next city, every mission leading to a noble Pokemon is coupled by heaps of build-up and dialogue supported by members of opposing clans, leading to a battle that can be difficult for you no matter how much you overlevel, because you, the player, have to, in real time, dodge attacks. This is what I believe is the strongest part of this game. Lastly, a world that feels or can be imagined to be expansive. In defense of this game, I could have easily left out that last part and made this game beat every other Pokemon game by a mile, but like I said, we're determining what makes a good Pokemon game. Good Pokemon games don't have expansive worlds really, but they do have worlds that allow the player to imagine a region so much bigger than explorable, and I believe most games do a great job of that. Legends Arceus takes the imagined out of the equation and gives it straight to you with a massive world by Pokemon standards. A world that is far more advanced and detailed than that of Sword and Shield, a game that came out mere years before this one. While some say that this world is a lot of copy and paste, I think it's a huge step in the right direction for the Pokemon Company. This is one of the first times it feels like Pokemon has ever done something that the fans actually wanted. A large, open Pokemon game, explorable for hundreds of hours, tasks and a set of characters with at least some substance, and full control over your movement and exploration to travel across many terrains, battling, training, and catching Pokemon to your heart's content. That's what I believe would make the ideal Pokemon game. A game, I remind you, is for children. It was for us as children, but we still play it because we love the world and memories it gave us. A game that once inspired us to imagine what the world could be beyond the nasty cruelty we see day to day. No, it's not perfect. Not even close. It's not Breath of the Wild, and Pokemon will probably never give us that. Sure, its plot is uninspired with characters that are annoying and cheesy. The graphics are fine at best and laughable at worst, but for the first time ever, I think the Pokemon Company has made strides towards expanding what Pokemon can be, opposed to sticking to a formula that is going to make them money. At the end of the day though, neither me nor any other screaming YouTubers can tell you what a good game or even a good Pokemon game is, because good is subjective and whatever's fun to you is worth your time and money. So you tell me, is Pokemon Legends Arceus the best Pokemon game? Thank you so much for watching this video essay on this game. If you like this type of content, looking deeper into video games from both a writer and consumer standpoint, leave a like and subscribe. It would truly help. I would love to make more videos challenging the general public's hive mind more in the future. And let me know in the comments if there's any game you feel gets unnecessary love or hate that you think should be addressed and tackled. I'm Kyle, and I'll see you in the next video.